since this is a religious pilgrimage around Europe, at least in this area, of course, Our Lady of Fatima would have to be one perfect stop. Obviously, I've never even been to Portugal, so this is my first time, and it's just so nice that to finally see this. And do you see how massive this is? Apparently the size of this is 3 times larger than St. Peter's Square in Rome. About lunchtime, Mass has just finished. Now the story of Fatima is there were 3 kids where Mother Mary appeared to them, did apparitions to them. Their names were Francisco, Jacinta, and Lucia, and they're actually buried inside the church. They were taken at a young age, while Lucia lived on to be, I think, 90 or 100 years old. She would keep appearing to her and performing miracles, and that's why so many people from around the world, pilgrims, tourists of different religions and the like, they all come together in fellowship to see, to experience, and hopefully, I don't know, restore their faith in humanity and hope. Anyway, right across the church, or in between the 2 churches, this is the place where the tree, I guess where they would appear, where Mother Mary would appear to the kids. And now it's been turned into a chapel. But in the past, this was actually a tree. It's Francisco. And this is Jacinta. So, one of the things that you do when you're here is to get a candle. You can bring your own, you don't need to buy your own, and then light it right there at the back. And what you do is actually one of the teachings that Mother Mary had told those kids, I'm not sure which one, but it's that when you pray, you always pray for yourself first, and then you pray for your loved ones, for a situation, for whatever it is. And I love that, because I think the problem with the world today is the whole issue of mental health, mental awareness, is because we don't have enough self-love. We have been taught by society that to put ourselves first is an act of being selfish, that we always need to take care of everybody else before, and we always put ourselves last. When you think about it, an airplane, right? In an airplane, they always tell you, put the gas mask first before assisting children or anybody else. Is that an act of being selfish? No, it's because if you're going to help other people, you want to be strong, you want to be alert and focused and not weak and fragile. And that's why everything starts with you. Everything starts within you, not outside of you, but with you. And there's nothing wrong with that. If we're able to love better, if we're able to serve better, we need to be strong mentally and physically. And that's a teaching of Mother Mary. I love that. Okay, some of the things I learned. First, there was actually an international competition that was held so that different artists could do their interpretation of what they think a church should look like, an altar, statues of Jesus Christ on the cross, of Mother Mary, and that's exactly what we saw inside. Now the interesting thing is, you would ask like, wow, it's actually quite empty. It's actually the 4th largest church in the world in terms of seating. I mean, look at it, it's massive. Now, let's talk about Jesus Christ first. If you know this, he's black, he's very dark, he's not as handsome and brooding or Caucasian or whatnot that we see everywhere. And he also has really big, awkward feet. Now, there's a couple of reasons as to why the artist decided to, I honestly think that Jesus kind of looks like a girl. So there are actually several reasons why this is so. One, he just made him like a regular Joe. very relatable, not this aspirational image. What I mean, it's great to have aspirations, but it's kind of like reality TV. That's why they sell, is because we can envision ourselves in them because they're so real, whatnot, and they're more, like I said, approachable, relatable. And the other interesting thing, it's really, really empty inside. There's nothing on the walls. And of course, that's not what you're used to. When you go to places like the Vatican, everything is like the art and which is great. Once again, it's great. No one is saying that that's a bad thing, but it does make you rethink. And when you go to different churches, sometimes you're so distracted by everything around you, when what you're really doing, if you really are to be spiritual and devout, you're just focusing on yourself, looking inward, doing a lot of reflecting, not being distracted, and you're being focused, that you don't need all these distractions to be truly focused on the part that you have this relationship with your God, with Mother Mary, whoever it is that you're praying to, and that's it, His feet. So now a lot of people come here, especially if you're religious. They do a lot of religious pilgrimages, and that's why they're called pilgrims. They would walk miles and miles, sometimes from country to country, to come all the way here to offer prayers and hopefully have their prayers answered by Our Lady of Fatima. So the feet represent the walking, and not just really walking, but the sacrifice that they do, the devout that they do, and the steps that they take, literally and figuratively, in the hopes that whatever it is that they're hoping for, they're praying for in their heart and their desire and their soul will be answered. And last but not the least, Mother Mary. Mother Mary, she's beautiful. All she has is a rosary with her hand opened out on the other side. And if you take a look, she has a heart that is situated outside herself, which is sort of a representation of what we should be, or how she is, where her heart is truly what guides us, love, and should be the universal thing. I guess our medal of honor as we go through life, with our heart, with love and openness. Apparently, so many different people from different religions actually come to that church, and nobody cares, because it's not about what religion you have, it's just the person that you are and your intention in this world. Wow, guys, my renewed sense of faith, I guess, in religion is slightly restored. You know, when you go to places like the Vatican and you see like there's so much military all around with these big Uzis, I don't know what you call it, like these big ginormous guns, and I get it, they want to protect the peace, but when you look at it, it doesn't look like peace, you know. But when you come to a place like this, there's literally no security. I mean, there is, but they don't have army tanks. Like, it's just a really calm, peaceful place. And I'm kind of moved to tears, because sometimes you think you see so much pain in the world, see so much people dying, and the one cause of it is because of religion. That's why I've never been a fan of organized religion. It's only brought more death, pain, separation, divide. And I think the biggest lesson that I can take from all of this, people, is revolution is not taking arms, taking guns, hurting people. The true revolution is actually just being kind. The weapon is kindness, compassion, empathy, respect, understanding. And what is the commonality of all those things I said? Love. Just come from a place of love. You don't all have to like be chummy with people. You just have to be cordial and to be nice. It's easy to be nice. Trust me. It's much harder to hate. That takes too much energy. And that's it. The revolution is to get along. Okay, so from the church, we're here now. I'm finally gathering more information. So Jacinta and Francesco were brother and sister, and Lucia was their friend. There you go. Okay, so this is their house, and if you notice, the houses around us, they're already, I guess, modern, more cemented, but this is what the houses used to look like before. And this is the famous picture, if you see, of Francesco, Jacinta, and Lucia. Okay, now if you take a look at this photo, you see like this block over here. This is this wall over here. Now, obviously the road has already risen. It was much lower back then because now the roads are paved. So you can see that they were really small boys and girls. I can't even, but they were so cute. Oh, that's so cute. Now what is that? So this bed over here is where Jacinta slept. And then this room over here, well, of course it's already been, like, I guess, remade. Her brother slept here too. So this is the room of Francisco. I keep saying Francesco, but apparently in a way they're also the same. So this is the room where he died. It's not necessarily the bed, but this is the room where he passed away in 1919. That was 16 months after the apparitions. Alright guys, so I'm learning more things about the story of the three kids in Our Lady of Fatima. Alright, so first things first, Jacinta and Francisco were siblings, and then Lucia was their friend. Francisco was the youngest, and he actually loved going to church. He was very devout. I think he was about 8 years old. He loved going to church so much he would spend like 6-8 hours a day there. So Jacinta and Francisco, they couldn't actually see Mother Mary, but they could see like an apparition, I guess like a light in her form, and they also couldn't hear her. Lucia, on the other hand, could. And Lucia actually asked Our Lady of Fatima, why is it that they can't hear you and they can't really see you like in solid form, and I can? And the Virgin Mary was saying that it's because you have a pure heart and because I have chosen you. And she was saying, but I don't understand you, Francisco. He's like in church all the time, like 6 hours, 8 hours a day. It's just so devout, and Jacinta is always going with him. And she just said, well, I choose you. And at the same time, I choose you because you are going to be spreading my message to the world, which is why she lived up to 95. And she said, and that would be difficult because the two of them, they'll be passing away while they're young or very soon. Well, anyway, to the point is, Lucia was the one who was spreading the word, spreading the message, and it was really quite controversial because at that time, when you think about it, a lot of the studies that we have in school, they're always about man and Jesus, man and God, man and Jesus, man and God. And then all of a sudden, here comes this lady, a woman, and calls herself Our Lady of Fatima. I didn't know that Fatima is actually a Muslim name. So can you imagine the terror of it all? So of course a lot of people were not happy with that. They don't really know what to do with that kind of information. A lot of skeptics. And then to have these three kids, I mean, what makes them so special? So I guess it makes it more relatable now, the story. And I can understand why when it comes to these miraculous things, you know, you kind of want as much details as you want to kind of have a grasp of it, and maybe we will never get the grasp of it, and that's why it's called miraculous, and it's just really up to your faith how you want to understand it. But yeah, it's pretty remarkable. Understanding it more, I've learned about the three kids when I was in school, but I never really understood it until now. Okay, now from back over there, we are walking to Lucia's house. Lucia. To other people, it's Lucia. To Americans, Lucy. Lucia. So the this is Lucia's house, and this is Lucia. Of course, when she was much older. I didn't even know that she was a nun, but she was a nun, and for the most of her life she took a vow of silence, so it's like a very meditative silent mode. And then if you take a look at the fireplace here, which is much smaller than the other house that we came from, which once again is a sign of wealth, right? So basically inside you get to see like their bedrooms and their living spaces. The beds back then were actually made of straw. So that's Lucia right there at 14 years old and carrying her niece. So I told you, right? There were shepherds. There were 3 little shepherds, because right behind me, I can smell it. They're sheep. So cute. Now, I was talking to you about Lucia's family having a lot of wealth. They were also bread suppliers in their community, and this is like the bakery right here. Hello, darling. Hi. Hello. So hi, everyone. So that picture that I showed you of Lucia holding her niece, this is her niece, obviously a little bit older now. Her name is Mary of Angels, or Maria de los Angeles. Hello.
The same name from her mother, she said.
So she has the same name as her mother. And Roy was like, come on, Roy. Come on, Roy. Roy has been our angel on earth. And he said that when we come to visit her, we'll bless her. And she loves kisses, so thank you. So every time you come to meet her, she doesn't really speak English, but what she does is when you come here, you just ask for a blessing. And today she just said that she wishes us well in our journey on our way home. So thank you. Obrigada. Thank you, Roy. No, I should, no, there should be a
don't say
as
that.
well. Thank you so much. That's kind of sad. So it says here, Memorial Ilma Lucia. So apparently they pronounce it as Lucia. Unfortunately, so this is the convent. This is the convent that I was saying, and she stayed here for 57 years. Unfortunately, it is only open from 3 to 6 p.m. on weekends, and we're actually here on a Sunday. Too bad. So, what can I tell you? We actually wanted to come to Coimbra exactly for this reason, but maybe it wasn't meant to be. I mean, it's just great that we actually got to meet her niece, Maria of the Angels. So that was a great thing. We got to see where her childhood place was. We got to see her bedroom, her sheep. Yeah, and we got to see Coimbra. I think now that I'm really thinking about it, what makes Lucia so special is because when she was telling the Blessed Mother, or Our Lady of Fatima, you know, why are you choosing me? Because Francisco and Jacinta, especially Francisco, you know, he's so devout. He goes like to church like, you know, 6-8 times a day, and I'm just like their friend. And she actually said, well, I choose you. And how I interpret that, at least personally for me, is that you don't have to be this hyper religious spiritual person. It's just, I guess, Mother Mary said to her, you have a pure heart. And it begins from there, people.